All right, what is up, YouTube? Cordless here, back on reporting on the Canyon Bridge closure, going under the bridge today. There's been a lot of talk on Camino Pablo about the next door about what's going on, and there's a meeting on the 27th. I won't be here. I'm out of town in Vegas, and I'm hoping that there's some good discussion going on about the bridge. So, I noted this morning that traffic is just horrible on Moraga Way. Went in about 8:30, and there was just a line of cars all the way to Orinda. And on the way back to Moraga, I counted about 350 cars on the road. And so, if you kind of add up, adding an extra 3,000 cars on Moraga Way, or even splitting it with Lafayette, that's a lot of cars going out. And so again, it was 6,000 cars a day go over that bridge. So taking a look at the bridge, I had some requests to go underneath the bridge, and so it was totally sketched, but I did it with the drone flying over the water. The drone kept kind of popping back up and giving me a fit, but what I wanted to do is kind of get a shot of that bank sitting over there that people keep talking about. There's going to be another shot here in a second about it, but you can kind of see under the bridge, kind of cool. I would note that I did not go into the bridge. I was actually on the road, so technically should have been within the letter of the law. There was so evidently somebody posted from the police department about maybe saying that there would be some citations if people went into the area, but I'm on the road, so I'm well within the letter of the law, I believe. I came in a direction that there was no posting, which I will show you here in just a minute. You can kind of see some of the structure under the bridge. This stem wall kind of holds up, runs along the road there, kind of holds up the I-beams that are going across. And there are clearly some, there's clearly some stuff coming loose. I'll let you guys interpret what you will from it. Again, we're not bridge engineers, at least I'm not. But it seems like this stuff has kind of like been there for a while. This was an old bridge. It's an old bridge, and evidently was slated for repair or replacement in 2018 anyway. And now it's been closed, obviously, and doesn't look so great under there. It looks like there have been some visitors scribbling some stuff under there, which is kind of interesting. Again, the shot of the bank. It's interesting. There's three sections of these I-beams that hold up the bridge. Sitting on top of those I-beams are more I-beams that then hold up a further I-beam. So it's very much of an old bridge. I mean, they're not going to make them like this anymore, I guess. And I suppose the primary concern is if you push on that too hard, it kind of topple over. The area in question is this area here, which is, it's the area that says there's some fractures or some fissures in here that are forming from up on the road. And I suppose the question is, why does it matter whether or not there are fissures there or not if the bridge is currently sound? I mean, the bridge has moved a little bit, but if it could move, is that the same thing as it actually moving? In other words, is it just it's an old bridge and they just don't want to deal with it in case it does move, and that's why it's been shut? It feels like that's the case to me, because if the bridge seems to be okay, which is what apparently has been stated, then maybe the problem lies here where we're looking, which is this hill is kind of a big unknown. It's a big question mark exactly what's going on here, and they just felt it prudent to maybe go ahead and close the bridge in advance, given they were going to replace it anyway in 2018 maybe. But speaking of which, taking a look at this slide again, it's kind of interesting. I talked to some people up in this area, and one lady who lives in one of these houses here, this middle house that you see that's kind of sticking out over this thing, has been closed or condemned. They moved out. The lady I talked to is living right and around in this area, and she said that EBMUD came in and put those pipes that I mentioned yesterday along Augusta, they put those in there quite a while ago because they thought that maybe they wanted to get around, having the pipe break and fracture. And I tell you, I mean, it seems like if they were thinking about that, then, clearly some other stuff is going on. You can see they patched the road there too. And well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of questioning. It seems like the origin of this comes from underneath that house. But anyway, so if we look at the path, a bunch of people have been asking me about how in the world can we get around this, and can you fly it? And well, clearly that part is closed that I'm flying. But this part of the trail, well, maybe it's open because it doesn't say don't come this direction. But of course, that's assuming you can't go that direction to begin with, but clearly there are people on the trail. In fact, I met quite a few of them, and I do know for a fact down at the staging area it is closed. So I did a little digging around, and I discovered this section of the trail. There's a dirt trail up on the top that loops around up to Augusta, which you'll see here in just a second. And then there's the regional trail itself, which is technically closed, which I'm walking on. I would note that I am not in Moraga here at all. I'm actually in Contra Costa County, so if anybody wants to talk to me about that, that will have to be the regional park system or EBMUD themselves. In fact, I'll illustrate that here. Here's a Google map of the area. You can see a few trails going up to that dirt trail, which itself is not posted as closed on Augusta. And here is the map of the Moraga Town District, and clearly I'm in that area, not in Moraga. Here I'm back in Moraga, but up on that dirt trail, which again is kind of questionable. Is this area closed? I mean, clearly it might be closed, so maybe somebody's going to citation me. I don't know. There has been a threat of that posted on the Nextdoor, which I don't exactly believe is probably the right thing to do, threatening us to not go in there. I mean, it's posted not to go in there, so it's your own volition whether you decide to break the rule or not. I don't think we need to be threatened about it. It's posted, so you use your own judgment whether or not you want to do what I'm doing here, which is going down this trail. I will say I met several people on the trail, bicyclers, several pedestrians. When I came back in for a landing, you can kind of see here the pipes that EBMUD has put in, clearly to kind of head off any difficulties with being responsible for anything in the future happening with the pipes under the street that carry water. I don't know what's under those streets, but I suppose we might find out if somebody asks that question of the city or EBMUD. It certainly seems like a lot of blame's going around. I don't think it's good to blame people necessarily, but maybe observational skills will help us, and putting direct questions to people that seem to be a bit irrational might be a good way to get around this problem. Anyway, I hope this helps. Cordless here. If anybody has any questions, be sure and let me know. It sure is a beautiful place to live, and I appreciate all my neighbors. Take care. Cordless out.